$279 million to pull this off. It's a huge task. So go to wfp.org/Haiti and do your part.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. In a time of such despair and desperation following Tuesday's horrible earthquake in Haiti, I find it unbelievable how some on the right can show such little compassion to people affected by the earthquake. In an email to ABC News, Representative Steve King of Iowa said, quote, "Illegal immigrants from Haiti have no reason to fear deportation, but if they are deported, Haiti is in great need of relief workers, and many of them could be a big help to their own fellow Haitians." For more on this, let's turn to Eric Burns, president of Media Matters. Eric, good to have you on tonight. The response by some in the political arena has been nothing short of astonishing. Are we seeing more and more of this, or is this an isolated comment?
Well, Ed, it's an isolated comment, it seems, from a member of Congress, but the conservative media has been turning this horrible tragedy into a political football. And, of course, as you know, this isn't the first time we've seen that happen from conservatives in the media. You know, earlier in the segment, I was watching the emotional and stirring images of members of the U.S. military trying to secure the country in Haiti and administer aid. Rush Limbaugh on his radio program this week basically said that President Obama had turned the military into a Meals on Wheels program, as all Democratic presidents do. And of course, he also suggested that the president was going to use this as a for his own political advantage, that he was trying to curry favor with light-skinned and dark-skinned blacks. And as you know, Pat Robertson said that the Haitians had made a pact with the devil, and that is why this horrible tragedy has befallen them. But Ed, there's a real human cost to this kind of rhetoric. It's disgusting, it's deplorable, but you know, these gentlemen, these folks have huge audiences. They have an enormous impact, and when they discourage or disparage these kinds of efforts, these humanitarian efforts that I think all Americans believe in and want to help, when they discourage these efforts, then people don't give. People don't text in to make their donation, and that means there's less money and less resources to help end the suffering on the ground.
There's also been some comments in the conservative media, Eric, about you know, possible fraud and such stuff. Is that putting a negative overtone to anybody who might step forward and text for $10 to help out this total relief? We're talking about billions of dollars. It's not going to be a perfect world out there, but the point here is that I don't sense that there's much pushback on any of these conservative talkers or conservative media out there that seems to be, for lack of a better term, stirring the negative pot on this.
Well, no, look, the silence from the rest of the conservative movement has been deafening on some of these comments, certainly on Representative King's comments. I know that, you know, Pat Buchanan was very vocal in condemning what Mr. Limbaugh said, and some other conservatives have been. But, you know, the logistical difficulties with these types of operations are always present, and that's one of the things that former Presidents Bush and Clinton addressed this morning when they were setting up their fund, is their commitment to trying to ensure that money that's donated is going to be used to actually get to help these suffering individuals in Haiti, these suffering people in Haiti.
Here is President Bush from NBC's Meet the Press this morning.
Some circles, the president's been criticized for politicizing this disaster. Do you think that's fair?
I don't know what they're talking about. I've been briefed by the president about the response, and as I said in my opening comment, I appreciate the president's quick response to this disaster.
The president, obviously, the former president, supporting what President Obama is doing. Eric, has this been a daily barrage, or was it just some isolated comments, or as your organization monitors what is said and written in the media, what can you tell us? Is this a daily outrage that's going on?
Well, certainly Mr. Limbaugh has been talking about this extensively on his radio program, as have other media conservatives. So this has been a pretty constant drumbeat from the radicalized extremist right. But I think that it really stands in stark contrast to the images that you just showed and what President Bush had to say. And what I think it really says, Ed, is that, you know, Americans, whether they're liberal or conservative, you know, these are about American values. values, the American value to want to help people that are suffering, to want to help your neighbor. When your neighbor's house is burning down, you don't ask who they voted for before you call 911. You just go out and help. That's who we are as a country. And I just think that these, Mr. Limbaugh, Pat Robertson, Glenn Beck, and these others, in this tragedy, as in past tragedies, with the Virginia Tech shooting, where, of course, Rush Limbaugh compared the shooter to President Obama and Jeremiah Wright, saying that they were the same. I'm sorry, that was with the Fort Hood shooting. In the Virginia Tech shooting, Mr. Limbaugh suggested that the shooter must have been a liberal. These kinds of incendiary, and horrific remarks in the wake of these tragedies, be they, natural disasters or national security issues, they're not helpful. And they certainly have no place in any responsible political discourse.
Eric Burns, Media Matters. Thanks for your time tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ed.
Coming up, President Obama taps the military's reserve to head to Haiti and campaigns in Massachusetts to save health care reform. We'll have more on that in just a moment. You're watching MSNBC.